Hello, Adi. Welcome back. This is an overview of your NIOS textbook, NIOS history syllabus. I have two other videos there on the ancient history and medieval history. They're just two small chapters in the 10th standard NIOS textbook for you. The next 10 or so chapters are what is called modern history, or the history of the modern world. So this segment is going to be a little longish, just bear with it. The modern world, as we know it, kind of began in around the 1400 AD, which is about, let's say, 600 years ago, right? If you see a lot of what we do today, how we live today, what we think today was decided in this period in many, many ways. So that's why we call this the modern world. Chapter 3 in your textbook touches upon some very important elements of the modern world, mostly around European history. We spoke about one of the key things that developed was proper kings and kingdoms and stuff like that. So what do we mean by that, right? Humans started living like wild people, just getting their own food. Then they started becoming small tribes, living 15 people together, 20 people together. They were small tribes or groups. Then they built small villages and kind of settled down in one place, at least for a short period of time, nomadic though they still were. And then slowly we know that small villages and village clusters and then city-states, all these came up, right? But all along, mostly they were like, each village, let's say, had like a boss, like a chieftain, tribal leader, and then he would kind of have a bigger king kind of. Really, the king wasn't very powerful really. He was just like another guy controlling these local powerful people. That kind of system was called the feudal system, right? Feudal meaning, these multiple levels of kind of leaders, if you will, kind of thing. So around the Middle Ages, around the modern world, feudalism started disappearing and proper kings came up. Meaning the king really controlled. If he didn't like somebody, he could just kick and kill and throw him out, kind of thing. So that's an important thing in terms of centralization of power, etc. And another very important thing happened in the same period. The Renaissance, something called the Renaissance happened. The Renaissance means rethinking or reinvention kind of thing. A lot of new political ideas about freedom, about equality of people, about some things like some kind of democracy came up. This was also a great period where a lot of artists came up and created some wonderful art and so forth. There was a lot of scientific development that happened. Most of the discoveries, most of the physics, the science, the maths that we talk about in today's world, all that stuff that makes your school textbooks heavy was discovered in this period, beginning around the 1400 or so. So we'll talk about some of the scientific discoveries. There were some religious changes that happened. One of the things in chapter 3 is the reformation of the Christian church. We'll read about that. Moving to chapter 4, a very important thing that was a historic event was the Industrial Revolution. We'll read about that. The next important thing was kind of what happened to India, right? The Britishers came here and started ruling India. Similar thing was happening all around the world. The Portuguese or Spanish, they went and ruled Philippines. Germans had colonies, the Spaniards had colonies, Mexico, Brazil, etc. were Spanish colonies. So the whole world was kind of taken over by the European superpowers, if you will. So that's something that we'll study here. Then from chapter 5, the focus is largely on India. India is ruled by the British, why they ruled, how they ruled, what it did to us, and how we fought back, etc., etc. Right? So most of the book is modern world, modern history, and I hope this gives you some kind of an overview. Bye, Chalam. Bye.